Welcome to the Women's Hoop Show. I hope you liked our first episode with Autumn Johnson. I had so much fun. If you haven't checked that one out yet, we talked all about the wild WNBA free agency and gave our tiers of teams for this upcoming season. You have to go back and listen to that. But on today's show, I'll be joined by my day one co-host, the legend, your favorite, my favorite, Sheryl Swoopes. We're going to get into so many big things from the offseason, including our thoughts on the inaugural season of Unrivaled. And Cheryl's going to talk about Athletes Unlimited. But first, we must discuss one of the GOATs of our game, Diana Taurasi, announcing her retirement. We have a great show for you today. Let's get into it. Woo, woo. Sheryl.
Hi.
Hi. We're back. It's been too long.
It's always good when we come together to talk some hoops.
It's always good when we come together to talk hoops. Talking about all my feels and all of the feelings inside, Diana Taurasi announcing her retirement. Sheryl, I cried on the internet. I was making a video just to talk about the announcement, and then I started tearing up because it hit me that I'm not going to get to see Diana Taurasi not only play basketball, but just compete anymore. And that just like, it just hit me that we're entering a new era of the WNBA without DT. What was your reaction? I have a feeling that you knew before all of us, but
I did not.
Okay. Wow.
Nope, I did not. I was talking to someone at Athletes Unlimited, and I said, there are some people, like some players that you think will never retire because they can just keep doing what they're doing and still look good doing it. And Diana Taurasi was one of those players. I know we were like, someday she's going to retire, but she doesn't have to. So when I heard the news, like everyone else, by the way, I saw your tears. I saw your post.
So embarrassing.
I don't know, like I felt some type of way. First of all, I was not angry, but I was like, dang, D, you're not even gonna give us a chance to like really give you your flowers as far as playing one more season, having her, her tour, her last stop, everybody. Let's praise Diana because she so deserves it. But I also get it, right? When she said everything that she ever wanted to accomplish playing basketball, like mentally, emotionally, physically, she's done. So when it gets to a point where you're like, what else is there for me to be great at on the basketball court? Nothing. Then it's time for you to step away and find a new challenge. But listen, I know the term GOAT gets thrown around like way too lightly. And everybody has their opinions and thoughts on who their GOAT is. What I will say, I'm not going to call Diana Taurasi the GOAT because there's so many incredible players that I've played with. But without doubt, without question, she is absolutely at the top of that list. One of the best competitors I've ever played against, one of the best teammates I've ever played with. Diana was just fierce. And, people say she was mean. I said she was a competitor and she just didn't take anything from anybody. It didn't really matter if you were a rookie, if you were a vet, even if you were her teammate, she was still going to come for you. But that's what made her so great in doing what she did. And without question, Diana Taurasi's presence on the basketball court will be missed for sure.
So missed. She detailed in the Time article that kind of was exclusive to break the news that she will be retiring. She called herself a nice asshole. And I think that's a great way to put it.
I like that. Yes.
And Sue Bird agreed. She said, on the court, that's when the mean DT comes out. But off of the court, she has been nothing but kind to me. And she respects the game. She wants to have fun. She has a great time. But on the court, that's a different level, and that's who
No
we've been
doubt.
able to see. We talk about the whole GOAT conversation. Let's just list off some of the things that she was able to do in 20 seasons in the WNBA. 20.
It's crazy.
That is wild.
It's crazy.
She was drafted number 1 overall in 2004, won that Rookie of the Year award, spent all 20 seasons with the Phoenix Mercury, which is also, rare and unheard of. Um, All-time leader in points scored, all-time three-pointers, 6 Olympic gold medals, 4 WNBA or 3 WNBA champions, 5-time WNBA scoring champion. I mean, the list goes on and on and
On
on.
and on and on.
And when you think about some of those teams that she was on, some of those games that she had, Diana Taurasi was electric. And honestly, when the season comes back and she's not, I'm gonna be looking for her on the Mercury team. I'm gonna be like, oh, DT just hasn't subbed in yet. Oh my gosh. She's not here.
She ain't subbing in, Jordan. I'm sorry to
She
tell
ain't
you.
subbing in. She
I'm
ain't subbing
sorry to
in.
tell you.
But she said in the article, which again, you talked about someone who may not ever retire. She said she didn't have it in her anymore. She usually starts training January 1st for the upcoming season. And when New Year's hit, she just couldn't do it. And I mean, talk a little bit about that, Sheryl, when you know it's time to hang up the Nikes.
Well, the thing is, it's hard. Like when it's something that you have been doing your entire life from, I started playing when I was 7 and never thought my career in basketball, professional basketball, would last as long as it did. But as an athlete and a competitor, when that's kind of been your identity your entire life, it's hard to finally say, you know what, it's time. And I think for me, I was like, I want to walk away on my own terms. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want a team to cut me. I don't want it to be because I'm injured. I want it to be because I'm ready. And when you do that, I think it leaves you having no regrets. And as Diana said, Diana Taurasi, you just read off all of her stats. She accomplished probably more than she ever dreamed she would be able to do in basketball. And there's just no challenge there for her anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
to be able to finally say, you know what, it's time. And I love the fact that she did it when she was ready, the way she wanted to do it, when everybody was saying, oh, this is going to be the year, right? We've been saying that
Right.
for 2 or 3 years now.
Yeah, we have.
And she's like, nope, wrong. And also people, because I saw the internet was like, what? You're gone just like that? Like no farewell tour? Like,
Yeah.
but that's who DT is. DT goes against the grain all the time. DT is going to be DT. I call her Dirty D. That's what we called her in the Olympics because she just like, and not in a bad way, right? I just like honestly, I'm not in awe of a lot of people. I am
Mhm.
truly in awe of who Diana Taurasi was as a basketball player and continues to be. I remember the 2004 Olympics and her joining the team. Excuse me. What I loved, I guess what I really respected from Diana was her openness and willingness to learn
Mhm.
from older players, from vets, and to get better. Like she came in on that team and was just hungry to learn the USA basketball like Olympic system and where she fit in and what she needed. And listen, Diana has always been a real one. And there's no surprise to me that Kobe Bryant gave her the White Mamba nickname because she has that same mentality that he had as a basketball player. And it didn't matter who was in front of her, teammate, competitor, any day, any night, like you knew what Diana Taurasi was going to bring. And even at the end of her career, right? At the age of 41, how crazy is that?
42.
42, excuse me.
Yeah.
But like even at the end of her
Wild.
career, Like, she was still competing. Was she as quick as she was? No, but none of us are as we get older. But what she was able to do, she could still shoot the leather off the basketball, and
Mhm.
she's still competing. So just having her on the court, you had to respect her presence.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I'm a fan. I've always been a fan, but I would last thing I will say is as great of a competitor as Diana Taurasi was, she is an even better person. And I'm so happy for her doing this at her own time, and looking forward to what the future holds.
I love that so much. I also love the whole, white mamba. When Kobe tells it, he said that Diana Taurasi came up to him and said, "I'm the white mamba." And that's also very on brand that she was like, "I'm giving
It
myself this
absolutely is.
nickname."
It
And he was like,
absolutely
"I
is.
agree. I agree, DT."
Okay,
Uh,
that's it.
well, that's so funny.
Well,
Um,
Jordan, in saying that, I'm sorry, because did you see her on The View the other day?
yes, I've seen this whole press tour. You talking
Because
about with
only
Whoopi?
yeah, but only Diana Taurasi would think to do that, right? But I
Mhm.
was like, Whoopi, time out. First of all, I need you to really know how to pronounce her name. Like, I really do. But only Diana Taurasi would come out and be like, "Thanks, Whoopi." And
She
then, oh my
she's
God,
one
yeah.
of one. She's one of
Yeah,
one. This is
she
a
is.
quote from the Time article. First of all, there has just been so many stories. So many people have just been sharing their favorite Diana Taurasi stories, and that's been amazing to watch, listen to, and read. But this is what DT said. She said, "My scoring record or the 6 gold medals, someone is going to come around that has the same hunger, the same addiction to basketball, and put those records in a different way, a different name. That's what sports is all about. That's going to be so fun to watch. Hopefully, not soon."
Listen,
Very DT. She's like, "Okay, all right. I've
no
I
doubt.
made the bar very high. There's 3,000 points separating her and Tina Charles, who's second in line for all-time scoring. So it's gonna take someone a really long time to get some of these awards, get 6 Olympic gold medals. It's gonna take some
Yeah,
time,
good
and I
luck.
think she's happy about that. She's like,
Good luck.
I'm okay holding the crown for a little bit longer."
Jordan, 6 Olympics. And when you think
6.
about the Olympics come around every 4 years, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I I would like to sit here and say, okay, like Asia Wilson could be the next one to play in 6 Olympics, but I don't know. I'm
It's so
just
many
saying.
factors that have to that
Yes,
go into
a
that. Like,
whole
you
lot.
have to be healthy,
Yes.
you have to be
Yes.
at off the top of your game, you have to make the Olympic team. Like, there's so
Yeah.
many
Yeah.
things that go into that. But before we go, do you have a favorite DT story? Because everybody's been sharing their fave.
Um God, I don't remember the year, so we would have to look this up. But I remember when I was playing for the Comets, and it was in Houston. I think we went to either a double overtime, maybe a triple overtime. Like Diana and I were going back and forth, like head to head. I think she ended up with 40 41. I don't know. I ended up with like 38. But the entire time, like the entire game, she was talking her smack. I was talking mine. I remember a specific play. I was going to catch the ball, get the ball. And she literally, you know how Diana plays. This is the dirty D part. So I'm going to get the pass. And she knew there was no way in hell that she was going to get it, but she came. A lot of the stuff she did was to try to like get in your head. But I was
Mhm.
like, no, you got the right one today. So she came, like, I'm going to get the ball. And she literally came and tackled me. Right. And so I'm getting up, and then Tina and Coop, all of my teammates are coming over, like, nah, D, we ain't doing this today. Right. And so then the thing I loved about her, though, because I knew with everything in me, it was intentional, but not to hurt me, right?
Right.
She was in a way trying to send a message. Now, mind you, this was after we had won probably 2 championships. So
I
of
was gonna
course
say,
Phoenix is
what
trying. Yeah.
message?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
You guys
Yeah,
should be
yeah.
sending the messages.
So of course Phoenix is like, we're trying, and this wasn't even a playoff game. This was just a regular season game.
Regular game.
But it was a good game. So what I loved about her though was she then came over and tried to help me up. And I was like, I won't tell you what I said, but I was like, girl, nah. So I get up, she walks off, she's laughing. So I go to the free throw line as I'm standing there, I'm shooting, and I make the first one. She comes over and like, you know how your teammates will come over and give you five? She came over and like tapped my butt. And I was like, girl, you are funny. You are funny. But listen, anytime you play against Diana Taurasi, one, you know what she's going to bring. Offensively, she's just going to try to crush you. But the ultimate competitor, but at the same time, she has so much respect for
Mhm.
the people that came before her and for the people that elevated the game. And she absolutely has been a huge part of that. And like I said earlier, Diana Taurasi will be missed in a lot of ways. And I'm just so lucky and grateful and blessed that I got to compete against one of the best to ever lace them up.
Mm. I love stories like that. I also love that she doesn't know what's next for her, but her son Leo is 7, and her wife Penny Taylor, who is also a great basketball player and a legend
Yes.
for
Penny
the
giving you your
Mercury.
flowers too.
Yes, Penny. Yes, Penny. Penny is coaching her son's team, rec
Oh, wow.
basketball team, and
Oh, wow.
Diana is the disgruntled assistant coach mom. And I would pay money to go. I do you know how much money I would pay, Cheryl,
Oh
to
my
go
gosh.
to this rec league basketball game and see Diana Taurasi pick up a tech for cussing out a youth ref?
Oh,
I
because you know
would
it's gonna happen.
I know it's gonna happen.
Oh,
So
yeah,
that
that's gonna
is
happen for sure.
retirement for her, and I wish her nothing but the best and future technical fouls in her future. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna talk Unrivaled on the other side. Welcome back to the Women's Hoop Show. And Cheryl, before we get to Unrivaled and how amazing it has been, I wanted to bring it back real quick to DT because why Unrivaled and Athletes Unlimited, where we're going to get to, is so amazing is because most of the time, or every previous season, players would have to go play overseas. And that was where the bag was coming from. And people forget that in that 2015 WNBA season, Diana Taurasi was paid by her overseas team
Mm,
to not play in the
yep,
WNBA. That has never happened previously, never happened again. They were paying her 1.5 million around there. She was getting about 107,000 in the WNBA at the time, and they said, "We don't want you to get hurt. So we're
yeah,
going to pay you to not play in your WNBA game." Um
mm,
that's how it was, especially at that time when
oh,
she
yeah.
was playing and she was playing in Russia. Man, EuroLeague was everything, and it still is, still paying the big bag. But now we have options for WNBA players to stay in the United States and play hoops. And Unrivaled, created by Nafisa Collier and Brianna Stewart, has, I mean, it's exceeded my expectations. Cheryl, we talked about it when it was first announced. We were like, we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see if it's gonna all come together. I don't want to hold my breath. But just your first impressions of this league in their first season.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like that's really what the first word I think about. I'll tell you, I watched like opening night, opening ceremonies, all those things, and like it gave me chills. And I was just like, wow, to be a professional basketball player today with all the different opportunities that they have. And, Brianna Stewart and Afisa Collier, whoever, wherever they got this idea, like it's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
It's a brilliant idea. And just thinking about what you just said, right? About Diana's team offering to pay her not to play in the W. I had said for a long time that players at some point might have to decide between playing overseas and playing in the W, because the overseas play takes a toll on your body, especially the older you get. When you're younger, you can play year round. But as you get older, it starts to take a toll on your body. And so Nafisa's played overseas, Stewie's played overseas. Maybe that's where they're like, you know what? We shouldn't have to go overseas to make a living.
Mhm.
And so I am here for it. I love everything that they're bringing, they're doing. They're taking care of the players, the salary, the daycare, the spa, all of it. I am so here for it.
So
But
here for
I
it.
do still have questions though. Okay.
Ooh, what questions do you have?
Well, I mean, it's still 3-on-3, right?
It
And
is.
yes, I feel like it's competitive, but part of me is like, how long can they sustain the 3-on-3 part? And there's what, only 6 players per team?
Yes.
I'm only bringing that up because of injury. And you
There have been some
yes,
injuries. There
because that's
have been
hard.
some injuries.
That's a
That is
lot on your body. And as
mm.
physical as they're playing, as hard as they're playing, you might want to consider adding maybe a couple more players to each roster to take a little bit off. I don't know. Those are the questions that I have regarding the play of it and players being able to stay healthy.
I think that's a great point. I feel like this whole season has been learning for them, as they've
Yeah.
just been seeing what's been working, what's not been, what people have been gravitating towards. The injuries has been something that caught my attention, not only because we're so excited to see these players and how they play together, and then it was like, okay, sometimes the Laces team wasn't actually the Laces team because
Right.
injuries
Right.
have been running rampant. So will they extend that roster? Will they have less games? Those are all things that they can think about moving forward. But I think when we are watching the games, and especially at those beginning, when everybody was healthy and it was those inaugural players, the play was intense.
Yes.
Like, first of all, the shape that you have to be in to play 3x3 period. We always talk about that, how it is constant moving. But then you add a short court, full court type play. They were huffing and puffing, and these are the best athletes in the world. I was like, oh, I think I would last like 20 seconds in this type of pace. They're moving.
Yeah, and not all of them are in the best of shape. I'm just saying.
Well, it'll get you exposed. The players talked about that. There's no help
Uh-huh.
side defense
No.
coming.
No. No. And so what I've loved about it, so I haven't been able to watch a lot of games because they play at the same time as AU is playing, but I've caught a few. What I love as a former player is the ability to really focus on like an individual player playing defense.
Mhm.
Because when it's 5-on-5, there are a lot more players on the floor. So
You can
you
hide.
can't really, yes, yes. There is no hiding in 3-on-3. And you can see it every single possession. So there have been a few players where I'm like, maybe 3-on-3 ain't your thing. Or maybe you now understand that you need to work on becoming a better defender. But it also allows you to work on your one-on-one game.
Absolutely. Yes. And I want to talk about that because some of the players that have been able that we've already known in a 5-on-5 scenario, that it's like, okay, they're going ISO and they're going to go get a bucket. And now in 3-on-3, you have that freedom a little bit more to say, okay, clear out. The other two
Yeah,
players go to the other side and I'm
yeah.
about to work. I think Enrique has been doing amazing, but Kayla McBride is
Mhm.
also just as much of a vet that she is killing it, being able to knock down the three, play defense, and get to the rim. She's showing how deep her bag is,
Yep.
and as much as you can get exposed, I think you can also show how much you got going on, and what you can do. But we got to talk about Queen Fee, the founder, the co-founder,
Yeah.
the owner of this league. Did you get a chance to watch any of those one-on-ones? Because the
I
one-on-one tournament was everything I had hoped for. Talk about exposed. One-on-one
Yeah.
on national television.
Jordan. So, okay, so yes, I did. I watched some. I had someone actually say to me, "Is it fair that Fee and
Oh,
Stewie were able to play in the one-on-one?" And I was just like, I mean, I don't know how they could have an advantage. Yes, they're the founders, but I'm sure they didn't go to the refs and they were like, "Listen, I need to win this one-on-one." Right? But they were like, "I don't know if it was fair for them to play in it." That's neither here nor there.
interesting.
Yeah. I was like, "Oh, okay. So you're okay with them playing 3-on-3, but not one-on-one." So I can get, I guess I can get the optics of it,
Mhm.
right? Like, Fee's a founder. She walked away with the bag in one-on-one competition. In addition to not necessarily her salary, but she's a founder. So they're so anyway,
Yeah, I think
maybe
it was just I think of it more as Nafisa Collier and Brianna Stewart being the type of players that they are. This was built for them. Like they kind of were like, "Hey, we could totally win this. Let's put in a one-on-one competition." Like I thought of it kind of in reverse in that
I
way.
love the idea,
I
but
love the
when
idea.
someone brought it up, I was like, I can see how maybe people don't think that's a good look. I don't know. I
What
don't
I
know.
thought you were going to say was what Courtney Williams was talking about, how it should be guards and posts be in separate brackets.
Yeah, and then so you're saying I get that too. So what, the whoever wins the guards will then later play
I don't
the
know. I don't
poster
think they've
forward?
thought it all the way through. I don't know if it's going to
No.
be a guard one-on-one champion and a post one-on-one champion. I don't think that. I think you have to be able to show
Listen,
you can go
you
against
gotta be, yes, ma'am.
anybody.
Yes, ma'am. Period. I don't care if you're
Period.
5'2" guarding 6'5". You, as a 5'2" guard, you got to use your advantages going up against a big. I will say this. I was surprised that it was Fee and Aaliyah Edwards.
Aaliyah Edwards came to play.
Aaliyah Edwards was like,
She
"I want that bag. I want it."
Here's the thing. This is why the one-on-one competition is so important and why a lot of people are saying the men would never do it. Because you have to put your pride on the line. Brianna Stewart was matched up with Aaliyah Edwards in the first round, and everyone was thinking this was going to end up being Nafisa Collier and Brianna Stewart in the final. Aaliyah Edwards stunk her out. 12
I
0.
know. Zip. A big
Didn't
goose egg,
even
Jordan.
get a chance. And Stewie just had to you just have to tip your hat. There's nothing you could do. There's nothing you could say. She was on a tear and she carried that momentum throughout the whole one-on-one tournament.
But how do you not score a point? Like, I'm just saying, I and it's no disrespect to Aaliyah Edwards, but I'm like, is she that good of a one-on-one defender that Stewie couldn't get a bucket?
Couldn't get a bucket, but it's also the part of with the one-on-one, if you're having a good night, you're having a good night. And that's the fact. That's what goes into the tournament style. Like if you're on, you're on. And Aaliyah Edwards was able to prove that. But then on the other side too, when we talk about a guard versus a post player, I remember the matchup Skylar Diggins Smith against Dearica Hamby. Skylar came in with a game plan. She
Mhm.
knew that Dearica could just post her up and back her down. So Skylar was going to foul, and
Mhm.
make her dribble. She said, Dearica, if you can dribble past me from the top of the key,
So
then you're gonna win this
could you not
game.
foul out?
You couldn't foul out, but you got penalized if you fouled twice in a row. So she was strategic. And then the free throws would count for 2 points still. So you didn't want
Okay.
to foul. It was discouraging
Right.
you from fouling. But how Skylar did it, it was, on the floor, or she would strip the ball from De'Erica. And then I was like, okay, yeah, guards, you got to come with a plan. Like, it's
No
not,
doubt. No
they're not
doubt.
just going to give it to you, or they're not just going to post up every time.
No doubt.
And it
I
was
like that.
just so fun to watch. And Nafisa Collier deserved that crown. She has been playing out of her mind. Just feeling like we're watching a primetime fee right now, just coming
Yeah.
off of the
Yeah.
finals, coming
Yep.
off of the season that she had. And we got to see her moves, her counter moves, and her counter moves in a one-on-one. She's so technical, right? She's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
fundamental,
She
and we got to
is.
see her
She
show that
is.
off.
I don't know. There were players when I heard about the one-on-one, right? My mind didn't go to a forward or a post player winning. It
That's
it
true.
went it went to, like, in my mind, I'm thinking, "Oh, this is gonna be great for an Enrique,
Mhm.
right? For a Kayla McBride, a
Courtney
Skylar
Williams
Diggins-Smith."
balled out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 I will tell you a player that, and this is based off of, like, stuff I see on social media and the few games I have watched. I think Angel Reese playing in Unrivaled is really, really, really going to help her in the W season.
Absolutely.
Besides the
She's
fact that Lisa
already
Leslie
looking
has been
better.
working with her,
Yes.
I think there are some players that I question, like, ooh, like, is 3-on-3 right for their style of play? But Angel making this decision, I think this is better for her than if she even would have wanted to go overseas. You know what I mean? Not that she has
Absolutely.
to to get a
Yeah,
bag, and
she
she got
she
a
does.
lot of bags. I just her ability to come out and defend on the perimeter, because we've seen her do that. She did it in college a little, but in the W, like, she would step out and have to defend on the perimeter. But at Unrival, she has to,
Mhm.
right? Even if she's defending like a De'Erica Hamby, because De'Erica will step away from the basket, but switching, a lot of the switching. So she's switching out onto guards and she's defending. Like,
She is.
yes. So if she can do that in 3-on-3, like, that's only going to make her be a better defender in the W when it's 5-on-5 and you have more help side. And it's
Absolutely.
helping her offensive game.
Mhm.
I've been very impressed with the growth in her game so far this season.
And having her matched or paired with Chelsea Gray on
Yes.
Rose
Yes.
was also a dream scenario for her. Like, that is also what's making her better. I feel
Yep.
like her floor spacing, just having a true point guard like that. And, Rose is on a 5-game winning streak. Like, they have been winning because they have gotten better, and they started kind of at the bottom. But they've been
Mhm.
climbing that leaderboard because I truly believe because Angel has been getting better. We're watching it before our eyes. And we talk about all the time that jump from rookie to sophomore season is so important, and it is a huge jump. You know specifically what you need to work on. You know the holes in your game. And Angel is, yes, you mentioned working with Lisa Leslie, but I think, man, the whole league better watch out next season because her bag is
Mhm.
getting deeper. She is getting better. She's finishing better. And she's still putting up 20 and 20s and 3-on-3, which is
Yes.
crazy.
Yes. I told someone before the
Crazy.
league started, I said Angel's going to be a problem just rebounding. If she was able to average a double double in the WNBA with 9 other players around her, like, she's
Mhm.
going to have a field day in Unrivaled, just rebounding the basketball.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The run, the Unrivaled season ends on March 17th.
Mhm.
And the talk about MVPs, some mentioned Nafisa Collier, Kayla McBride, Chelsea Gray. De'Arica Hamby has also been playing very, very solid. This is all a continuation from the WNBA season. These are
Yeah,
all
yeah.
players who played really well in the W and they just hit a stride that they're able to play against the best of the best. And Alicia Gray has also been doing great. And Lunar Owls is theirs to lose. They
Mm.
have been playing out of this world. Hootie hoo! I love it. They have a stacked squad, and they've just been running through everybody. So that has been fun to watch. But overall, I think it's just been fun that, we talk about the social media presence. I
Mhm.
feel like I have an unrivaled video of some sort at least 3 times on my feed every time I open my phone. And that was the goal. Nafisa Collier talked about it. This is usually a dark period. Like, we don't hear about WNBA players during this time.
Yeah. Oh, no, because they're overseas.
Right. They're
And no one's
overseas.
really covering overseas.
We're not covering it. We're not, getting to know them as people a lot. And Unrivaled has made an Instagram account for every single team, and they have so much coverage, and we are just getting to know them. We're laughing, we're inside their practices, we're getting interviews. They have a podcast studio in Miami. Like, it has just been a really, really well put together, and we have like many years of this. So I'm excited to see where it goes
Yeah, I
and
I
who gets
like
the
how
first champ.
I also like how spicy things have gotten over at Unrivaled. Like,
Oh,
if you think these players aren't, like, for real, they're not serious about competing, about winning, you might wanna think again, because they are bringing it every single game.
and spicy because of free agency too.
That
They've
part.
been there recruiting.
Yeah, that part.
We all know that that's exactly what that is. There was too many free agents going into Unrivaled, and I was like, oh no. BG was doing TikToks with Ryan Howard. Like, it
Right, and
was
then you
all
see
over
what
the place.
happens, which was a big shocker, didn't see that coming. So, one thing I wanna say, like, we talk about the competitiveness and, like, everything Unrivaled. Somebody posted yesterday or the day before, because Marina Mabrey, which, by the way, I hate that she hasn't played this
I
season,
know.
because
This would
I
have been
think it
great
would've
for
been really
her.
good for her. Yeah,
Yes.
I do.
Yes.
But you probably saw it. She was sitting on the bench and just blew this big old bubble, and then she sucked it all in, and somebody commented, "Marina Mabrey is just getting a paid vacation."
She's doing cooking shows.
Girl,
She
and I
is
was like,
doing
"Well, if
everything. She's building her
why not?
brand.
Why not?" Well, I don't know about the cooking show, because some of the stuff I've seen her cook, I'm like, "No, Marina,
It's a little
stay out of
suspect.
the
She's
kitchen.
learning how to dance.
Stay out of the kitchen, boo."
What a vacation.
Right?
Last thing before we move on. We talked about 3-on-3. Your dream 3-on-3 team. Go. I want in your prime, Cheryl's 3-on-3 team, and we're gonna put you guys would be in Unrivaled.
Oh, me, Coop, and Tina.
Easy.
That's done.
That's 4 championships.
That's done. But I'll give you one more if I'm not playing, okay?
Okay.
So I'm gonna give you like an up and coming player.
Mm.
I'm gonna give you like a rookie, and then I'll give you like a vet.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll start with my vet. I'm going with Asia Wilson.
Mhm.
My up and coming player, I'm going with Juju Watkins. And then like my rookie, I was gonna go with Angel, but I don't like Angel and Asia together. Not in three
No,
on
yeah.
three.
I
My
mean,
brain ain't
honestly,
working
if you
that
just
fast.
ran with Juju and Asia,
In
you'd win
Asia.
some games. You'd win
We
you'd
don't
win
need
some
a third.
games 2 on 3.
You know what? Give me two up and coming. So I'm gonna go Asia Wilson, Juju Watkins, and either Hannah Hidalgo or Olivia Miles. I'll go with one of those two. Yeah. And
Olivia
I'm
Miles was
good.
there. She was at
I'm good.
an Unrivaled game, and she was like, "I can't wait to do this
Yeah.
because that
Yeah.
style is gonna fit her so
Yeah.
well." That's a team. That's
Yeah.
a
I would run with that
squad.
team. Mhm.
Alright. Okay, I like your chances. Okay, everybody else think about that, while we take a break, and we'll talk about Athletes Unlimited after the break. Welcome back to the Women's Hoop Show. Sheryl, Athletes Unlimited was in Nashville this
Mhm.
past season. You were there, you got a front row seat. Maddie Siegrist was crowned as the
Let's go, Maddie.
champion.
Let's
The
go,
champion
Maddie.
with over 7,000 points in AU. Odyssey Sims was at number 2. They were battling for that 1 and 2 spot like all season long. Crystal Bradford, Maya Caldwell were finished in the
Mhm.
top 4. Ballers. You know, Athletes Unlimited is 5 on 5 in Nashville. Captains get to pick your teams, you get points. It was fun. This season was fun to watch, but what's your takeaway from these past weeks at AU?
Well, so a couple of things. This is now my 4th season commentating for Athletes Unlimited. First year in Vegas, second, third season in Dallas. But Nashville, by far, the city showed up, they showed out, the excitement was there. You know, Nashville put in a bid for a WNBA team. So
Mhm.
people were coming out supporting, and it was so good to see for the first time in Athletes Unlimited. They had a big billboard when you're coming in, going in downtown, you can see it. So just the excitement and to be in that atmosphere was exciting. Um no question, Maddie Siegrist was just a
Hoping.
baller. She was getting it done every captain for 3 weeks, selected
Wow.
her team. She knew what she was looking for, what she wanted, and I mean, it was hers to lose. Honestly, her and Odyssey were head to head, just so close in like
Mhm.
really that 3rd week. Maddie just separated herself from day 1 in week 4. And
Wow.
But so Cindy asked me what player at AU, and she does it every season, but she said, what player at AU reminds me most of myself? And without hesitation, that was Maya Caldwell.
Oh, what about her
Like,
game reminds you of your game?
one, her length, right? Her length, her speed, her quickness. She gets out in passing lanes like I did. She plays both ends of the floor like she is a lockdown defender.
Mhm.
And the Atlanta Dream should be super excited about the growth. And they better play her. They just need to play her. But let me just tell you a couple of other things I love about AU. So, and you know this, we had GMs, execs, W coaches come through and
Mhm.
just kind of, they're supporting, but also scouting a little bit.
Absolutely.
Um, and I think a player that has a real potential in the W, if she can just get her mind right, her attitude right, is Crystal Bradford.
Yeah.
And so the Aces signed her to a W contract, but Crystal Bradford, like she's a walking double double. She can
Mhm.
score, she defends. I love the energy she brings, the excitement. It was fun to watch. A couple other players, Bria Hartley, who's 100%
Yes.
healthy.
Yes.
100% healthy. Bria Hartley needs to be in somebody's training camp.
Wow. And it
Yeah,
was
Bria
so
Hartley looked
nice.
so good.
It was like, I missed you, Bria. Like
Mhm.
she just looked like herself and she was out there. You could just see how hard she worked to get back to
Yep.
that position. She was in a training camp last season, but she showed out that she deserves to be on a
Yes.
roster. She
100%.
needs to be in the WNBA.
100%. So,
Wow.
I'm just putting that out there so people hopefully will listen because she can help a team.
Yeah, she can.
And now with the expansion, I'm like, hopefully somebody will bring her to training camp because
Mhm,
I think it's a no-brainer for her to be on a team.
mhm.
Kristen Williams, who's back, she's healthy.
Oh,
For those who
yeah.
don't know or remember, went to Connecticut, so she's going to Minnesota's training camp. A big, strong guard that can just score the basketball. She competes. Um, Lexi Brown
Yeah.
played really well. I'm excited to see her back. She's healthy. Lexi is dealing with Crohn's disease, but 100% healthy, not only shooting the lights out, but putting the ball on the deck. She's attacking, she's defending, she's Lexi Brown. Last player, Dallas Wing, should be super excited about Ty Harris.
Woo! It's like Ty Harris 2.0.
Yes.
She
Yes.
especially
Yes,
because she's
yes, yes.
already played with Dallas, so it's like, now Dallas, you're gonna get Ty Harris 2.0,
Mhm.
this version of Ty Harris,
Mhm.
with the team that they have now in Dallas and a number 1 pick coming in, like, it's perfect timing because she has
Yeah.
been hooping.
Yeah, so it was good. Nashville was good. The competition was good. I do wish the season was at least like a week longer. So it was
Mm,
only 4 weeks. The first season, it was 5 weeks, but after that, they went to 4 weeks, and I think it's because they didn't wanna run into, March Madness,
yeah.
right? So
Yeah, that
that's
makes
smart
sense.
in itself. And, um, announced that they signed a multi-year deal to be in Nashville for a few years, so
Seems
it
like
was a good
Nashville's
time.
home.
Yeah,
Oh.
Nashville was good to us.
That is so great. Another player I wanted to shout out to is Kia Nurse. She finished
Yes,
9
yes.
overall in scoring, and it I guess the theme was maybe players who had been injured or just getting their groove back. It just seemed like there
Mhm.
was just this thunderbolt of electricity through these players, and they looked rejuvenated, and Kia Nurse was one of those players. I'm like, this is the Kia Nurse that
Yeah.
I wanted on the Sparks. And I love that she just looks comfortable and confident. And now she's going to go to Chicago and they're going to be able
Mhm.
to get that. And they need a shooter. And this, Kia Nurse 2.0, like, I was really impressed
Yeah.
with her
Kia Nur
play.
I'm glad you brought her up because from day 1, like, the very first game, I think she hit, like, her first 6 threes or something,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Yes.
"Oh, that's
Oh,
the Kia I
hello.
remember." So she absolutely
Hey
will
now.
help Chicago, and I'm so glad you brought up injuries because that was one thing that Cindy and I talked a lot about was just an opportunity for see some of these players who, like, we knew they could play, but they had been dealing with injuries. Elizabeth Williams,
Yes.
who was out with an injury. She played in AU and is healthy, and she also looks really good, just doing
Mhm.
the things that she does in the paint. Izzy Harrison, Izzy, another player who now
Yes.
is going to New York, but Izzy came in and she was still dealing with some knee stuff, but she's healthy. And I don't know, it felt like the energy in the arena felt very different than it's felt in the past. And I think maybe that was part of it, just
Mhm.
getting a lot of these injured players back and now they're healthy. And it was a lot of fun and the competition was great.
The competi and when you're rehabbing or coming back from an injury, you wanna make sure you're playing up against the best of the best to get you ready for the W, and I feel like Athletes Unlimited was that great option, and the competition, even the very last game of the
Yes.
season went down to
Yes.
the wire. It was almost an overtime game, so the players wanted to win. They wanted those points and they wanted those bragging rights of being on, their captain's team. They wanted to win for each other. And just watching at home, you can feel that. And it was really fun. I would say another successful season of Athletes Unlimited and Nashville. I gotta go next time. I love
You should.
Nashville.
You
How
should.
fun. It's just live music
I didn't
everywhere.
get in the streets a lot because I didn't have no street buddy.
Oh, okay. Well, then
So you
that's
should
where I
come.
need to come. Yeah.
Yep, you should come.
Accept it as my invitation. Before we go, this has been so fun. This is my favorite thing ever. Before we go, let's hand out an award. We're going to hand out some awards at the at the end of some of these episodes, and they're going to
Okay.
be whatever category we want it to be. And
Okay.
today, it's who had the best off season.
Mm.
The best off-season award. When we think about everything, we talked about free agency in the last episode. It could be a team, it could be a player, it could be a city. Nashville had a really great off-season. Who had your best off-season? I have mine. We talked about her a little bit earlier, but I think Angel Reese is having and will have the best off season. One, because I just got a McDonald's Angel Reese
I
PR
saw it. I
package.
saw it.
And I'm like, girl, you are literally on my McDonald's cup right now. And you have your own, the
Yeah.
first female athlete
Yes.
to do such a thing. Not only that, but you're also playing really well. And we always compliment Angel for her hunger and her desire to get better, and she is plopped in a place that she can just be a sponge. And we're already seeing that. So, yes, working with Lisa Leslie, working on her
Mhm.
layups, working on her game. I think she has the crown for the best offseason award.
Okay. And I can't argue with that. So then, because you went basketball, I'm gonna go somewhere different.
Great.
Although it's still basketball. It is basketball. I am going to go with, is it Kaisre Gondrazik?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And here's why.
Mm.
She's been through a lot, right? Played basketball in college, came to the WNBA, went to Indiana Fever, got cut, Chicago got cut. Like, she's still in the basketball world though. Like, she is still getting in the gym, she's still working, she's still like, I am going to play again. But she ain't just sitting there waiting on her phone to ring to play basketball. Right. And then about her personal stuff that happened, all of that. But what I
Yeah.
love about her and why I say she's had the best offseason, because she too is getting her bag. Right.
Yes.
I had to Google all of this because I wanted to make sure I had it right. So, all right. She attended the 2024 Victoria's Secret fashion show in Brooklyn. So her modeling career is like off the charts right now. I think she is
Going
drop
up.
dead gorgeous. I love
Stunning.
everything that she represents right now. Like, keep doing you, boo. She attended the Tommy Hilfiger fashion show during New York Fashion Week in 2024, walked in the Sergio Hudson Spring 2025 fashion show, appeared in the Essence magazine January issue, appeared at the 2024 ESPYs. She just got like a partnership deal with Porsche.
Ooh,
Listen.
the price. That's expensive. That's an
Listen.
expensive. Those ain't some cheap names.
I'm just like,
Good for
I
her.
know we talk about like the Asia Wilson, because Asia was another one, right? There were so many people
Yeah.
we could have picked for this, but I went with her because to me, she is the definition of resilient.
Mm,
Regardless of everything she's been through, off the court, personally, but in basketball, coming, playing, getting cut. She keeps working out, she keeps coming back, but she is still doing her thing.
mm.
And I absolutely love everything about it. So I am giving her her flowers, and she had the best offseason for me.
That is a great pick. She's also like, you ain't gonna forget about me. I'm around.
No, no,
Remember,
no,
I'm a
no, no. Yeah.
basketball player, but I'm
Yeah.
here. I'm
Mm-hmm.
around. She's also
Mm-hmm.
dating
Mm-hmm.
Jaylen Brown, right? The
Are they
NBA player
still
from.
dating? I don't know. I don't know
Uh-oh.
if they're still dating.
Uh-oh. Okay.
No,
We
I'm
might
not
take that
sure
out.
about that.
I'm
Okay,
not sure. But they looked great. When they did
so
announce, it looked great.
so here's a headline. So I'm going to say no. So it says Kaiser Gondrazik partners with $52 billion worth brand as Jaylen Brown remains a yesteryear chapter in her life.
Ooh! Well,
So
dang, that's why she got lighter. She's
yeah,
free. That's
yeah,
why
okay.
she's
Mm-hmm.
shining. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
all right. What
Mm-hmm.
a
She
headline.
is shining
Man.
bright like a diamond for real. Keep
Yeah.
doing you, boo.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Well, I would give you an award every single time because you are the greatest and the best to do the show with. I'm so happy we're back. So happy that people can hear our takes again all year round. You're the best. Thank you for coming on, Sheryl.
Oh my God, I love you.
The Women's Hoops Show is an Odyssey original podcast hosted by me, Jordan Robinson. Today, our co-host was Sheryl Swoopes. Our producer is Phil Switek. Our video team is led by Kurt Courtney and includes Tal Ben Abraham, Evan Cox, and Lauren Vieira. Our executive producers are Greg Holtzman, Asha Saluja, Danny Freisinger, Maddie Sprunkheiser, and Leah Reese Dennis. And special thanks to Moira Curran and Josephina Francis.